We are told in the book of Proverbs that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Fear is a reverence, a healthy respect. When you learn the laws of electricity, you're very careful how you use that principle, because you know the consequences. So you have a healthy, reverent, wholesome respect for that principle of electricity or chemistry or physics or mathematics or any other law. You know what will happen if you put your hand on a naked wire or a short circuit. You learn the theories of insulation conductivity, resulting in a healthy reverence and respect for these laws. And you follow the nature of the principles. Likewise, when you learn the principle of chemistry, you have a healthy respect for the combination of chemicals. For example, if you mix nitric acid and glycerine together, you will have a powerful explosive. So if someone came into a drugstore with a little glycerine in the bottle and asked you for 25 cents worth of nitric acid, and you didn't know that you had an explosive on your hands, then you'd do, and all those around you would be in trouble too. You have a healthy respect for the law when you learn the consequences of misusing it. You have a healthy respect for fire, so you do not put your finger in it. Similarly, when men know that their mind works like the principle of chemistry and physics, they have a healthy respect for it. They learn that they can use it in two ways. Think good and good follows. Think lack and limitation and misery follows. For you are what you think all day long, and thoughts are things. And what you feel you attract, and what you imagine you become. A principle is the way a thing works. We realize that God, or the living spirit, the life principle in you, is principle also. Principle does not change. The infinite is boundless love, infinite intelligence, has all the elements of personality, such as choice and volition, initiative. When it makes 40 stars in interstellar space, when it creates a new planet, and so on, there's choice and volition, initiative there, isn't there? Nevertheless, God works by law. Therefore, we have to work by law, for this law never changes. Water runs downhill. It expands when frozen, taking the shape of any vessel into which it is poured. These and many other characteristics determine the principle by which water operates. Your mind operates in the same way. If you think good, good will follow. If you think evil, evil follows. Man sometimes uses his mind to oppose his good. He has a vivid imagination of things that he does not want. Oftentimes he is looking at obstacles, delays, and difficulties in his mind, and vividly picturing these things. Then he turns around and says, God can help me out of this problem. His words betray him. For he is saying, I am now identified with sickness, pains, and aches, and the pain goes on for years. Instead, pray this way. The infinite healing presence is healing me now, this very moment. It created me, sustains me. And this creative intelligence which made me is making me whole and perfect now. You must have a healthy respect for the law and realize that if you say, I can't do this, you have faith in failure. Faith is an attitude of mind. It's a way of thinking. You have faith if you have a mental image of accomplishing something wonderful, and if you sustain it with expectancy and confidence, your subconscious mind will bring that to pass. That's practical faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Many have faith in evil powers that will bring harm to them. Others have faith in a hell, a lake of fire waiting for them. All this, of course, is utter nonsense. For faith is an attitude and expectancy. Some expect to be passed over for promotion. Whatever you deeply expect, of course, you will experience. How can a man believe in a good future if he fears death and torment? He cannot. There's only one power. As the little boy said, God is all, over all, through all, and all in all, omnipresent, present everywhere. He said, if that's so, which it is, he said, there's no room for anyone else, is there? Very simple, an 8-year-old boy. If a man thinks that God is cruel and he is punishing him, and that God has created a hell for him because he has erred, when he couldn't help himself anyway, since he has to err, for that's the only way you're going to grow and expand, that man cannot love God or the good, because he's postulated another power. It is impossible for that man to banish abnormal fear. He is fearing the future, and after life. He has a God of fear, but God is a God of love. Such a man cannot banish fear out of his mind, since he must come back to the unity of the one power. In order to banish abnormal fear, you have to come back to the fundamental truth that there's but one power. Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one Lord, one power, not 2 or 3 or 1,000, just one. It moves as unity. It is all love, all peace, all harmony. Align yourself with that, and all fear will go away. Basil King, who wrote Conquest of Fear, tells that as a young man he was going blind. He was depressed, dejected, feared the future, blindness, old age, and all the rest. He thought that nature was cruel and raw, and that evil abounded in the world. He had strange, weird concepts of God. One day a woman asked him, "What do you think God is?" He replied, "There are 3 supernal beings in the sky and 3 thrones." She laughed at him. At that moment he said, "I knew I had a wrong concept." Then he recalled something that a teacher said previously. The life principle, which is God in you, is indestructible, invulnerable, and eternal. It always brings about the expedient, which is an answer to the particular need of any man. He began to think that the life principle within him had overcome every obstacle in the world. The life principle goes on, invulnerable, eternal. Nothing can destroy it. It gives fur to the animals in the north, hair to those in southern and temperate zones. It covers others with shells to preserve them. Others are given a poisonous fluid which they emit when attacked. It takes care of all forms of life. When primitive man met the tiger, he was frozen with fear. Gradually there came to his aid the dawn of reason, imagination, and memory. Later man began to think, and this power within him responded to his thought. Always the life principle meets the particular need. The average man today has pigeonholed God, or the infinite presence, brings him out on Sundays and holidays in cases of death, birth, and marriage. The rest of the time he is put away in a corner. Some men are afraid to use the term God. Others look askance when God is mentioned, as they begin to think of him in terms of religious connotations, because each has a different concept of God, like the blind men of old describing an elephant. So Basil King, in meditating on the power within, discovered that the natural principle or life or nature is not cruel. When he combined with this principle in thought, mighty forces came to his aid. He no longer believed in 3 supernal beings sitting on a throne, but he perceived that God was the life principle within him. He found that God is the answer to every problem. He said this realization was the beginning of the process of casting out fear, which was blinding me and paralyzing me. If you want to conquer fear, you have to come back to the truth that there's only one power, indivisible, and its source is love. When you know that, when you align with it, you can't be fearful, you can't worry. This power has no opposition. There's nothing to oppose it, challenge it, or vitiate it, or thwart it. It is the life principle that has overcome every opposition in the world. It's omnipotent, all-powerful, goes on conquering and to conqueror. Realize that you're one with this God power, and mighty forces will come to your aid. You're aligned with it now. You're one with the infinite life principle, with all things. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. When we are fearful or indulge in negative thoughts, we're vibrating at a low level. When we meditate on a psalm and say, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," or "The presence of God is right here where I am," or "I dwell in the secret place of the Most High, and God is guiding me now," we are thinking spiritually. We're vibrating at a higher level, at a spiritual frequency. And just as when we place a finger on a tuning fork, that is the end of the negative vibration. This is the end of the evil, because evil is a false belief about God and the infinite goodness of the one who forever is. When we are full of fear, we have greater faith in evil than in God. This is shocking, but it's true. Fear is God upside down. We have faith that the sun will rise, that we can drive a car, that we'll get an answer to our prayer for guidance. But many people have faith in the wrong thing. They are looking forward to misfortune. They're afraid of their jobs, of losing money, of growing old, instead of realizing, I'm always in my true place, for God is my employer. I am working for Him, and I live forever. That which they are afraid of does not even exist. You can cast out fear. You can affirm boldly, I have absolute trust in the God presence within me. I expect the best. I know only good can come to me. That's the way to pray. Divine love in me casts out all fear. I am at peace. I see the presence of God everywhere. I am absolutely fearless. God of the divine presence is with me always. It made me, created me, sustains me. It's the invisible life principle within me. It loves me and cares for me, for it is written, He careth for me. If God be for me, who can be against me? I know that one with God is a majority. This heals and frees me from all sense of fear. Only God's thoughts come to me. These thoughts continually unfold, bringing me harmony, joy, peace, and success. I am surrounded by divine love. I think rightly on all occasions. God's power is with my thoughts of good. The love, the life, and the truth of God flow through me now. I am immersed in the holy omnipresence. I am always surrounded by the infinite ocean of peace. I am full of divine understanding. Divine love goes before me today and every day to make straight, perfect, and joyous my way. For the Lord He it is that doth go before me, whithersoever thou goest. Behold, I send my messengers before thy face to prepare the way. You are sending the messengers of peace, of love, of harmony, right action, and beauty before you today. And these messengers fulfill your orders. They're faithful messengers, so you'll discover that all your ways are pleasantness and that all your paths are peace. You're one with that Father, with your Father within, and your Father is God. Fear not, He said, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. And that kingdom of God is within you. The love, the light, and the glory of God surrounds you, unfolds you, and enwraps you. You're governed by the divine presence now. You love to work with others. You love to represent and express God's ideas. So affirm boldly, God's ideas unfold within me, bringing me harmony, health, and peace and joy. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. I know goodness and mercy follows me all the days of my life, for I dwell in the house of God forever. I dwell in the secret place of the Most High. I abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge, my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. He covers me with His feathers, and under His wings shall I rest. The truth of God is my shield and buckler. His angel watch over me, they bear me up, lest I dash my foot against a stone, for God is love, and He careth for me.